What's going on, guys? I'm Bill and welcome to Bill's How To. If you've got a sink that's draining really slow, today I'm going to show you guys two of the most common causes, how to fix them, and also one little trick that a lot of people get stuck with. Let's get straight into it, guys. Let's do this. Alright guys, so obviously we've got a sink here that's draining very slow. First and foremost, I always recommend using a plunger. If you haven't got a plunger, you honestly don't need it. You can just use your hands. As long as your hands are larger than the opening here, that's all you really need. So we're going to fill this one here up just a little bit more, and the reason for that is I like to create as much pressure as possible in there, and we're going to do that by making sure we've got a lot of water behind it. So now we've got enough water in there. What we're doing now is basically creating a lot of suction and pressure in there with our hand or with the plunger if you've got one, and that's going to try and release some of that material that's stuck in the trap that could be causing the blockage here. Easiest way, put your hand straight over the top, and it's like you're doing CPR, straight over the top. Now this is where a lot of people get stuck. If you've got an overflow system like we do in this case here, you can see we've got a little round section. This is actually a cap over the top. If you're trying to plunge that area, it's not actually going to create enough pressure. And the reason for that is because we've got the overflow here, it's able to simply breathe from here. So we can use that little opening right here to breathe from rather than creating that pressure down onto the actual trap to move all that gunk out of the way. So what we do here, if you've got a cap, just simply remove it, wiggle it back and forth, and you can see there now we've got an opening. You put your thumb over one side here, and then you want to start creating that CPR. Now the water is drained out, so I'm going to quickly fill it up again. Alright, so now we've got enough water in there. Once again, we're going to put my thumb over that opening right there, try to block that off as much as possible. Close off that opening down the bottom, and all you're going to do is lift up and down exactly like you're giving CPR to somebody. We're going to try and revive this sink. Once you feel enough pressure in there, you want to lift your hand as quick as possible and keep your thumb over the top. Do that a few times and wait and see if that's actually clearing up. Usually it's 50-50. Honestly, most of the time it's this cause right here, which is to do with the trap, and you can unblock it using a plunger or your hand. If you haven't been successful, we're going to move on to the next one, which will hopefully resolve your issue. So the next thing we're going to do is try and remove any debris that might be caught in this little drain here, and we're going to use this little tool here, which is just a little drain snake. These can be bought for literally a couple dollars online. It's very simple on Amazon, Temu, any of those little websites. It'll save you a few $100s from having to call out a plumber. Now I've shown you guys in a previous video how to create your own one as well, using just some cable ties or even a stick. But these here are definitely worth the money. We're just going to push that down into the opening. We don't need to go too far, hopefully. And because these are so long, you can actually make it all the way down to the trap. And I can see there's some gunk built up here. So very common to find hair, always built up in these little drains here. And I can see that water starting to drain now. But we're going to put it down, twist it around a few times, make sure you're grabbing everything out of there. If you've got a weak stomach, maybe you can squint. That might help, I'm not sure. Or some people like to wear gloves. That's up to you. We'll start that water once again, make sure everything's flowing. That section there seems pretty clean. What we're going to do is just simply drop this snake into every one of these little holes. Have a good little feel in there. Make sure we haven't missed anything, which we have on this side here. Once again, if you've got a weak stomach, you might want to wear some gloves, or if you're concerned. But honestly, these two little methods here are going to get you out of 90% of blockages for your basin, your vanity, your kitchen sink, anything like that. If it does seem to get stuck, just pull out and rotate it at the same time. And we've got a big chunk right there. But we can definitely see that water's running nicely now. Much better than it was before. It's very common to find that it's hair that's just simply blocked it up over time. But awesome little tool, literally costs, I think I paid maybe $6-7 for it, delivered. Next day delivery, gotta love Amazon. I think we've now got all of it. Almost lost that one. That's now pretty clean. Wash my hands, wash the sink. We'll return our pop-up waste. And we've got a job well done. So there you have it, guys. That's two of the most common causes for a blocked or slow draining sink, especially that little overflow here. A lot of people don't know about it and will simply get stuck, won't be able to use even a regular plunger, and will end up having to call out a plumber for a few $100s when you can now do it yourself. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. You've learned something new. As always, like, comment and subscribe. Until next time, I'm Bill. Thanks for watching Billshowto.